and welcome to the Aussie Football Passport, your one-stop pod for updates on your favourite Aussie men and women who are playing their club careers abroad. I'm your host, Alex, and this week we've got national team action to cover with the Matildas playing 2 games against Slovenia and Perth. The men return to club action in North America, Japan, Korea and Scandinavia. And also there are some confirmed transfer and transfer whispers that we will fill you in on. Let's get straight into it with the news headlines. All right, let's start with the confirmed transfers. And Noah Botic, he has signed for Austria Wien on a 3-year contract. Of course, Noah Botic had a breakout season at Western United here in the A-League, joint top goal scorer in the competition, and no wonder he earned a move overseas. There were rumours, of course, he was going to end up in the Bundesliga with fellow Australians Jackson Irvine and Connor Metcalf at St. Pauli, but he has ended up not too far away in Austria, so we wish Noah all the best there. Now, right back, Kealey Adamson has signed a 3-year deal with QPR, leaving his former side at MacArthur FC. They will receive a £250,000 transfer fee for his services. So well done to Kealey, and he will join 2 fellow Australians at QPR, of course, Western Australian boys Daniel Benny and Jalen Pearman. So we will have quite a number of Australians in Portsmouth. Yes, we knew that, but we will have quite a number of Australians in the championship next season. Now, speaking of transfer fees, Sydney FC will receive 450,000 Australian dollars in compensation for Adrian Segicic's move to Portsmouth. So, for those unfamiliar, when a player is under the age of 23, and their contract expires, they can move to another club. However, the club that wishes to acquire their services or signs them now that they no longer have a contract, does have to pay a compensation fee to the club, their previous club, basically to cover the supposed training fees or I guess funds that go into developing that player. So that is why Sydney FC get a fee for Adrian Segicic, despite the fact that his contract with Sydney FC expired on the 30th of June. And one that had sort of slipped under the radar, but it is Craig Goodwin. He will be returning to Adelaide United in the A-League after a second stint in Saudi Arabia. He was playing at Al Vaida there in Saudi Arabia. So they are the confirmed transfers. Now let's take a look at the rumour mill, and let's start with a manager. Let's start with our best mate, Big Ange Postecoglou. Now, he is being lined up as a potential replacement for LAFC, who recently departed with the services of their current manager. So that'll be one to watch. We'll keep you informed on that one. No doubt Ange would prefer to stay in Europe, but look, any job is a good job that is overseas in this instance. Now, Maty Ryan, he's attracting the interest of a couple of clubs, in particular Fulham are one that are looking at him. They have recently just lost their second choice keeper, Marcus Bettinelli, to Manchester City, and therefore they are looking for a number 2. Of course, Bernd Leno is the first choice keeper at Fulham, so probably not the wisest move for Maty Ryan, I would say, in my humble analysis there, but let's see if he is lured back to the Premier League. Of course, he had a stint at Arsenal as a number 2 there, and he also was at Huddersfield and Brighton. So, no, not Huddersfield, he was just at Brighton, so apologies there. Now, there is another club that is looking at his services, and that is FC Copenhagen. So, Matty has already played there. He only lasted 6 months of a 2-year contract, and unfortunately, he fell under that spell of becoming the second choice keeper behind self-confessed best keeper in the world, Kamil Grabara. I'm sure everyone remembers his outstanding efforts on social media declaring how good he was. If anyone knows where he is, actually don't send it to me because I don't really care. Anyway, all right. Another one, Adin Rustic. he is potentially looking at return or coming home to play in the A-League for the first time in his career, as of course his club Salernitana were relegated to the Italian third division last week. So we will keep you posted on that one. Now for that man, Alex Robertson, who is yet to declare his allegiance to Australia. However, we'll cover the news with Alex until such time. He is believed to be in a bit of a tug of war between QPR and Portsmouth. So interesting there. Of course, we've got now 3 Aussies at QPR, and we've got 4 at Portsmouth, could be 5. Now, the interesting factor here is that Alex Robertson actually went on loan to Portsmouth a couple of seasons ago from his parent club, Manchester City. Now that Cardiff, they purchased him after that successful loan period at Portsmouth. He'll be familiar with the club, and no doubt will want to potentially return there. I guess just depending on what package suits him and what place in what team suits him best. So another one to keep an eye out for. As for former Wunderkind, Nestri Irankunda, well, it looks like he might stay in Switzerland and he might stay at Grasshoppers. They are the ones leading the race to secure his services for next season. So it's most likely to be another loan for him. Bayern Munich do not want to sell him at this time. They still see him as a bit of a prospect, or probably more so in their case, they can make a bit of a profit out of him. So we will keep you updated on that one as well. Now, one that's just come to the news just before I've recorded this one, Anthony Pantazopoulos is the subject of transfer speculation. So he had a breakout season with the Western Sydney Wanderers, which is no doubt the reason why he's attracting this interest. Apparently several clubs in England, Poland and the USA are looking at his services there. So the preferred move from his management, according to this rumor, is the USA, in the MLS in particular, but we will keep you informed on that one as well. Now to a rumour of another kind, and it's believed that the Socceroos are attempting to line up a friendly with one of the host nations, USA, for the October international window. Of course, last week it was announced that Australia are playing New Zealand in a 2-match series in the September international window. So I think this would be a great move by the Socceroos, quite smart considering they could get posted to the USA. Of course, the USA is joint hosting next year's Men's World Cup with Canada and Mexico. So not a bad idea to go and recce the situation in USA, provided a certain president lets them in the country, of course. But let's not get political. This is a football podcast. All right, well, that is it for the news headlines. Let's move on to the weekly wrap. All right. So as we mentioned at the start of the show, the Matildas were in action in 2 games in Perth, which means that it is international window or international break time for the ladies and their club sides. So this week's weekly wrap will have a bit of a recap on the Matildas' 2 games against Slovenia. So the first game on Thursday night, the Matildas beat Slovenia 3-0, and they followed it up on Sunday evening with a 1-1 draw. So let's talk a little bit about the players and I guess my thoughts on the 2 games. And in particular, it was great to see Emily Gilnick, Holly McNamara and Hayley Raso as the goal scorers. Was it great? Well, yes, of course it was. But good to see them on the score sheet. And Michelle Heyman, she scored the only goal in the second game in that 1-1 draw. So, of course, first 2 games of Joe Montemurro's tenure as the Matildas coach, and the game plan was quite clear to see. I thought it's a possession-based, progressive, that sort of modern style of play, very attacking and sort of, looking to keep the ball and recycle it and work it down the field. So I thought the first game, the scoreline really flattered the Matildas 3-0. They turned the ball over a lot. There was lots of forced passes, and Slovenia, when they did apply a little bit of pressure, it did look like the team somewhat cracked under that pressure, and Slovenia had plenty of really good chances, but just it seemed like the shooting boots didn't turn up from that long haul flight with them for that first game. But look, it was rectified to a degree in that second game. The girls looked a little bit more comfortable, and I guess, hopefully we'll see them be even more comfortable with this new style of play under Joe Montemurro in the two games coming up against Panama. But definitely really good to see some opportunities for the fringe and squad players as well, with some of the regulars out being rested or out injured at the moment. So, I guess one of the interesting points from the game I thought was Alana Kennedy moving into midfield. Of course, we know that she plays there for her club side, Angel FC, in the NWSL. So, that could be a move that becomes a little bit more permanent. And we did see Joe talk about that a little bit more after the second game, where he was talking about the importance of one of the holding midfielders dropping in between the two centre backs when the Matildas have the ball, and it allows the fullbacks to be released and play further up the pitch. So it gives a bit of cover in those defensive areas, of course. So Alana partnered Kyra Cooney-Cross, who has become a bit of a mainstay in that midfield. So that'll be interesting, of course. And we yet to see Katrina Gorry as part of the squad as well. So how that sort of midfield jigsaw piece or puzzle works will be quite interesting. But look, plenty of positives to take from the first two games against Slovenia, I thought. Now, there will be a bit of a turnover in the squad. So we'll see 8 players leave and 8 players replacing them. So the 8 players that will be leaving after these two games against Slovenia will be Mackenzie Arnold, Ellie Carpenter, Kyra Cooney-Cross, Winona Heatley, Alana Kennedy, Remy Simonson, Caitlin Torby, and Jada Wyman. And the players that will be coming into the squad to replace them will be Alexia Apostolakis. And yes, listeners from last week and previous weeks, I have been taking Greek lessons to get that surname. Here's another tongue twister: Jacinta Galabadarachi, Briley Henry, Sally James, Grace Kuilamu, Chloe Lincoln, and Adriana Taranto will be joining the squad. Another one to note with this Matilda squad is Sian Fryer. She has been medically ruled out from the squad with a lower leg injury, and she will not be replaced. So don't be expecting to see Sian in the upcoming games against Panama. So a bit unfortunate for her, but no doubt she'll be firmly in Joe Montemurro's plans moving forward. All right, so that's it for the women for this week. Let's jump over to the men. And let's start in Japan. So Thomas Deng, he got a full game against FC Tokyo in midweek. It was a 3-0 loss there as Yokohama F. Marinos continue to struggle. On the weekend, they played Shonan Bellmare, and it was a 1-1 draw. So slightly improved, but still a long way to go if Yokohama F. Marinos are to starve off relegation. How the mighty have fallen, of course. They were champions only a couple of seasons ago. Now, Jason Geria, he was in the matchday squad for Albirex Niigata against Kawasaki Frontale, but that did not make the pitch, unfortunately, in that midweek game. Some are saying it was a tactical move to save him for the Socceroos derby against Mitch Duke's Machida Zelvia, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So I probably should cover that game, and Jason did play the full game in that one on the weekend, but unfortunately Mitch Duke's side prevailed 4-0 in that one. Dukey came off the bench and got 14 minutes in that game. So interesting results there in Japan. Now let's jet over to Finland and Mitchell Glasson. He got 18 minutes for his side, KTP, as they won 3-2 over FF Yaro there. Now, let's head to the US&A. And some are calling him Super Sub Smithy. Yes, that's right. Brad Smith in midweek. He got 5 minutes in FC Cincinnati's 3-1 win over CF Montreal there in midweek. He then got 11 minutes on the weekend in FC Cincinnati's 2-1 win over Orlando City. So maybe a good luck charm. We're not too sure there, but well done to Brad for continuing to push for some minutes there for his club side. Now, Patrick Yazbek, he got a full game for Nashville in midweek against New England Revolution in their 3-2 away win there. He followed it up on the weekend in yet another Socceroos derby as Nashville went out 1-0 winners over DC United. So the other Socceroo we should talk about in that game was Kai Rolls, who played the full game in defence for DC United, but unfortunately was unable to keep out Patrick Yazbek's Nashville side there. Nashville, it should be noted, on a 13-game undefeated streak. So well done to Patrick and his side there in the MLS. They are absolutely flying. Now to a couple of young guns. Ariaf Piol, he got 26 minutes for Real Salt Lake in their 1-1 draw with Sporting Kansas City. Unfortunately, his fellow Australian Lachlan Brook, he didn't make it onto the field in that game. But it is good to see Piol continue to get his minutes in his legs after his move from Macarthur in mid-season in the A-League, I should say. Now to another Aussie, Jake Gerwood-Reich. He was on the bench for St. Louis' 4-2 loss to Orlando City in midweek. However, he did get 76 minutes at the weekend in a 1-0 loss to Houston Dynamo. All right, so that is it for the weekly wrap. Next up, we'll have our players of the week. It was a tough choice this week for our women's player, but we could have went with the fairy tale return of Emily Gilnick, scoring within a couple of minutes of her return to the Matildas squad. Could have been the return of Hayley Rasso and her rasping goal, but let's go with Holly McNamara, the second goal scorer in the first game against Slovenia in that 3-0 win. She finally broke her duck on her 10th appearance for the Matildas, which is really great to see. Hopefully it's the first of many for Holly in green and gold. She's certainly one to watch for the future. And she's also just announced her re-signing for Melbourne City in the A-League Women's. So a great week for Holly there. Now, as for the men, we've managed to find a player of the week this week. It was a really tough search, if I'm honest. I had to go to every corner of the globe to find this man. But the award goes to John Iredale, who is playing in the Korean Republic's second division. He was called upon off the bench. He came on and he scored for his side, Seoul Eland, in their 1-1 draw against Chungnam Asan FC. So good to see from John, and hopefully, lads, you can pick up your game and give me some more options next week. I beg of you. Anyway. All right. Well, that is it for another week of the Aussie Football Passport. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and rate the show on whatever platform, good or bad, you are listening to this on. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Amazon. Also, make sure you follow us on social media so you can stay up to date with everything that is the Aussie Football Passport. We are on X, formerly Twitter, of course, Facebook and Instagram there. So that is it for another week. Thank you very much for listening. I'll catch you in the next episode, and goodbye for now.